Thank you, Madam Chair. And Chairman Rosenworcel, I appreciated our discussion yesterday. Thanks. Let me ask a quick question on net neutrality. I know there's a lot of debate, big policies at stake. Your very distinguished background includes being a staff member on this committee. Don't you think that something that big in terms of policy should be authorized by Congress, not just federal agencies to make it up?
Senator, as you know, I support net neutrality. I also would support working with this committee in any way, shape, or form on these issues or any other update to telecommunications law. But as I said earlier, I do believe the agency has inherent authority in this area.
Let me turn to the majority of our discussion yesterday, and that's on the unique challenges in Alaska. And I know you're very well aware of those. And you made a number of commitments to me yesterday in our meeting. Can I just get you publicly to kind of make those again and talk briefly about some of the issues? Commit to you a commitment to come back up to the great state of Alaska and see our people, and challenges to work with the stakeholders in the Alaska plan on what comes next and how we move forward on that important and very successful initiative from the FCC, and then not to subject Alaska to the USAC rural healthcare rate setting database and have more transparency and timeliness on a lot of the issues that the previous chairman, in my view, completely ignored and almost cratered the entire healthcare system in rural Alaska.
All right, so that would be yes to a visit, yes to continuing to work with you on the Alaska plan, and yes, with respect to your concerns about the rural healthcare system and that database. I have, in fact, stayed that database right now, so it's not in effect. I think we're going to have to figure out other ways forward, like I said to you yesterday, that reduce waste and abuse, have appropriate transparency, but are ultimately mindful of the fact that these communications are essential for the health and safety of the people who rely on them.
Yeah, some of the most vulnerable people in the country with very limited access to health care. A lot of them are my constituents.
Absolutely. Listen, I think you know I've been in a lot of rural Alaska bush villages where the healthcare facilities at the center of town, and but for that connection back to Anchorage, many of those people would not be able to see professionals. It is among the most essential healthcare in this country.
Thank you. And just real quickly, if you can comment very briefly on the discussion we had with the infrastructure bill, the USDA's initiatives, the NTIA's initiatives. There is going to be an opportunity on more broadband throughout the country, particularly in rural communities. But I'm concerned about a lack of coordination, waste, fraud, and abuse. Can you comment on that? I know that you guys recently put together an MOU with NTIA and USDA on these issues. They're important.
Yes, like I think I've said a little bit earlier here today, we have an opportunity for generational change with the infrastructure bill. So we need to execute on it. And if two things stand out to me most, the first is we're going to need coordination about data and facts. So the FCC, which doesn't have a driving role in the bulk of these funds, is going to have to support every other organization in the government that does, and the states as well. In addition, I actually think we need really strong accountability measures right out of the gate.
Yeah.
It would be a criticism I've had of previous FCC programs. We need to make clear exactly what kind of audits are happening and what kind of penalties exist for anyone who takes those funds and doesn't deliver.
Good, thank you. Ms. Bashiva Avishi, I'm sorry we didn't have our meeting yesterday. I look forward to meeting with you. Your position is enormously important to my state and my constituents. 2/3 of the seafood harvested in America, 2/3 comes from Alaska. So we are the superpower of seafood. And NOAA is a really, really important partner in terms of surveys, in terms of stock assessments, in terms of clean and healthy oceans. And again, we haven't met yet, so I'm going to withhold judgment. I'm a little concerned about your background, which is impressive, but it's focused on urban planning, climate resilience. I don't see a lot that is in the area of the core NOAA focus, which is so important to my state and my constituents. Can you comment on that?
Well, thank you, Senator Sullivan, and I look forward to having a chance to connect directly. I enjoyed talking with your staff yesterday. I want to start by just saying that I've previously worked at NOAA, and I worked at NOAA when the Deepwater Horizon oil spill happened, which really leveraged every part of the agency to jump into action. So I really got a crash course in the agency and really believe that I can hit the ground running if confirmed. But I'll also say that my work in climate resilience is so cross-cutting and really is focused on making sure we leverage the best available science wherever I am.
I'm all for that, trust me.
And
It's really
apply
important.
that to decision-making, evidence-based decision-making. And I believe that that work that I've done in communities across the country, including in Alaska, I mentioned in my testimony that when I worked at the White House Council on Environmental Quality, part of my portfolio was actually focused on the resilience of Alaska Native villages. I had a chance to visit Shaktoolik and really appreciated being able to connect with Alaska Natives there and just appreciate the tremendous challenges that they face in maintaining their...
Well, I look for, and I don't want to cut you off, I have one more question for Mr. Bedoya, and so, but I do look forward to our meeting, and again, I apologize, I had to cancel on that yesterday. Mr. Bedoya, I'm a little, well, not a little, I'm actually quite concerned. In 2016, there was a tweet that you retweeted, and it was talking about the presidential convention in 2016. A number of senators on this committee, myself included, went to it. And the tweet said, "I never thought I'd see a televised presidential convention that essentially was a white supremacist rally." It's a pretty strong view there. Look, we realize the FTC leadership structure is made up of partisan commissioners, but this tweet and other tweets raise questions about whether you have the temperament, the maturity, the dispassionate views required of an FTC commissioner in charge of over 1,100 employees. And I'm sure a lot of those employees didn't see that convention in 2016 as a white supremacist rally. How do you respond to my concerns about your temperament and judgment, meaning that you need to serve all Americans in this job?
Absolutely, Senator. I appreciate the chance to speak to this. I think my record in the Senate as a staffer and at Georgetown speaks to this.
I'm not asking about your record. I'm asking about this tweet directly, and don't dodge me on it. Just address it. Maybe you're sorry. Maybe that wasn't really your viewpoint. Don't dodge the question. Tell me about your temperament, your maturity, your dispassionate views when you are essentially claiming half the country was at a white supremacist rally, which was the convention that we had in 2016.
Of course, Senator. I want to clarify, I do not believe the former president's supporters are white supremacists. They're part of my family. I love them. I don't recall...
Are you apologizing for that, or what's your... Are you taking that back? Are you saying that probably was a mistake, maybe, or something like that?
Yes, sir. I don't think it's appropriate to call the entire convention a white supremacist rally. I do apologize for that. I was trying to clarify that I don't cast judgment on the former president's supporters. They're a part of my family. They're an important part of my family, and I hold them dear to me. The last 4 to 5 years affected my own family. My daughter has never met her great-grandmother because of the travel ban. And I could give example as to why, as a private citizen and a law professor, I spoke out, but I pledge to you that if confirmed, it is my duty to do as I did as a Senate staffer, to set aside all those politics and serve every single person in the country, irrespective of political opinion and party. Yes, sir.